If there is a classic game that I enjoyed but didn't spend enough time with, that game was Contra. I remember enjoying my time playing the game but not getting around to beating it. Nowadays, I wonder, how could a game as simple as Contra be modernized and adapted for this day and age? Today, I finally got my answer. Weapon of Choice DX. Weapon of Choice DX is a love letter to run and gun games. It integrates classic aspects of this type of game, but brings a lot of creative and diverse ideas to the table, modernizing the run and gun genre of games and giving us something truly unique and worth checking out. Hi everybody, my name is Jeremy and this is my review for Weapon of Choice DX for the Nintendo Switch. Thanks to developer Mommy's Best Games for sending me the review code. Let's start this review by talking a little about the story and premise of this game. The premise of Weapon of Choice is as follows. The world is being taken over by aliens and they are appearing everywhere. You have been recruited as part of a military organization to defend the planet and end the invasion. The story in this game is presented in short dialogue sequences that take place at different points of the stage. The story is full of sci-fi mumbo jumbo, but it doesn't get too complicated to follow. It's simple but gets the job done. After all, the main catch of these type of games is not the story, it's the gameplay. In what regards to the graphics of Weapon of Choice, this game features high-resolution, hand-drawn art style that tries to convey some level of realism in the look of the human characters, but at the same time tries to convey the weirdness of this world with the design of the aliens and the locations that you visit. And believe me, it really manages to pull it off. The game for the Nintendo Switch runs at a consistent 60 frames per second, and in all my time playing the game, I had no frame rate drops at all, which is key when you're playing a game like this, because there's a lot of things happening on screen and you want the frame rate to be consistent so that your gameplay is not affected by technical aspects. In the music department, this game is outstanding. The game features an original soundtrack that is mostly composed of rock music. And it has the sole purpose of pumping the player up for the intense combat sequences. Believe me, the OST is amazing. The game has some really incredible soundtracks. They all fill you up with energy to go around killing aliens in the game, and you're just gonna be enjoying your time all throughout. The music is so good that it helps you get immersed while you're playing, fighting the monsters, fighting the aliens, and you just get lost in the rocking tunes. So let's talk about the gameplay. Weapon of Choice DX is described as a high-energy run-and-gun game, where the objective is to kill the alien enemies with your cool weapons and reach the end of the stage. The stages are non-linear, meaning you can move left to right or up or down, and explore very big stages. This game has a lot of verticality, incentivizing the player to explore all around. In each stage, you find collectibles in the form of orbs with the name of the developer, Mommy's Best Games, and you can find different characters. By carrying them to the end of the stage, you save them and unlock them as playable characters. This game features a total of 7 playable characters. You start with 3 characters and unlock the rest by rescuing them in the stages. All characters have a unique weapon, a secondary weapon, a double jump, and a backpack that allows them to stick to walls and ceilings with spider legs. The incredible thing about this game is that all 7 characters play differently. Their double jumps are all different, and their main weapons all have different abilities. Each weapon has a regular attack and an alternate type of attack. Each character has a secondary weapon, which is an automatic rifle, and it's the same for each character. This secondary weapon has an alternate fire style where you can detach it from the character to manipulate it on its own and shoot enemies from different angles. However, each character's main weapon is completely unique. Some characters are more close range, others more mid range, and others long range. Either way, they all feel very different to play with. For example, Moses Longhorn's double jump includes an explosion that goes to the left and right that can damage enemies, and he uses small balls that shoot laser beams. My favorite character was Cersei's Remington, which is a character that uses an engine as a weapon. He was more of a mid-range character, and if you use the alternate fire of his main weapon, it just shoots a stronger fire from his engine and allows him to bounce and push himself in the contrary direction. His double jump allows him to float in a specific direction for a while, which is useful. And just like that, every single character is completely different, and it is an extremely fun experience to try all of the characters out and find out how they play. Each time you are about to get a death blow, the game activates a mechanic known as death brushing, where you will see the game go into slow motion and you will see skulls letting you know you're about to die. The game even points out the enemy or projectile that is about to kill you just to give you a little chance to react. If you die, you get the option to choose the next character from the roster, and another mechanic is activated, the Vengeance Missile. The next character arrives in a missile that you can choose where to shoot at. The missile does damage to surrounding enemies and your character appears at the spot where you aimed. You can choose to save the character that died by carrying them to the end of the stage so that they are available for the next stage. If you don't save them, you won't be able to choose them until you finish your playthrough. This means that each character functions as a life and that you get a game over only when all available characters have died. Another thing is that you can only carry one character at a time. So if more than one character gets downed in the stage, you must choose who to take with you to the end of the stage to have them available later on. One of the things that really stood out to me the most about this game is the level of mobility that the characters have. Each character has a different double jump and they can stick to walls, and this gives the player a high level of mobility that you need to learn how to use to your advantage. This game has diverse branching paths, meaning that during certain key points of the game you will have to choose what path to take, and that will lead you to different stages down that path in a different ending. The game features 3 branching paths with a total of 6 stages for the entire game. You play through 3 stages per path, the first stage being the same for each path. However, depending on the path that you choose, you will explore different sections of the first stage and 2 other unique stages, so it never feels repetitive or boring. The stages don't overstay their welcome. They take a few minutes to complete, but they always feel fun and engaging to play through. The game features a total of 6 difficulty settings so that you can adjust the challenge to your liking, and so that you can replay the stages in different difficulties to get more bang for your buck. I personally played the game in normal mode and found it to be a little bit easy for the most part, except for later stages that had more challenging platforming and enemy encounters. In what regards to the enemies, the enemy diversity in this game is outstanding. You fight small enemies, big enemies, you have bosses, and they all look and fight very differently. I was even pleasantly surprised to find enemies having really intelligent attack patterns that push you to be on your toes while fighting them. The game controllers are a little bit weird at first, but it's easy to get used to it. You jump with the left bumper, you control your main character with the left stick or controller pad, you use the right stick to fire, You use the right bumper to swap between main and secondary weapon, and you use the second right bumper to activate the alternate fire of your weapons. Even though this sounds kind of weird and it's not the controller layout that I'm used to, honestly I got used to it pretty fast and it works. But just in case you don't feel comfortable with this button layout, the game features some good options in the settings. For example, you can map the controller to your liking if you don't like the default controller layout, among other things, which is awesome to see in a console game, because that is not something that we usually get, and it's a really nice detail included by the developer. In general, I have to say that Weapon of Choice DX is a really fun game to play, and it's really engaging. So let's highlight some of the pros and cons of this game. Among the pros and the strong points of this game, I have to start by saying that the art style is one of the strongest points of this game. It's really pleasing to look at. The art style is a mix of realism and some really weird aesthetics, and it conveys the uniqueness of the world of Weapon Choice. The other strong point of this game is the gameplay. The diversity that you get with all 7 characters, the diverse environments, the consistent 60 FPS, the fun gameplay, the replayability, I mean, it's incredible. And last but not least, the other strong point of this game is the music. I found the soundtracks to be awesome. The music really gets your blood pumping and really gives the game a really unique feel. So what were the cons of this game? First of all, I wish the game had more stages just because of how fun it is to play. I wanted to visit more places and kill more aliens. The game balances this out with the different difficulties so that you can play the game again through them. But I just wish there were more stages to go through just to get the chance to play more and see more awesome weird locations of this game. Another thing that I felt was a con in this game was that despite the game giving you 7 different characters with different playstyles, they all have the same dialogue options in what regards to the story, which kinda takes away from the uniqueness of the characters. It's almost as if they didn't have any personality. It would have been nice to see the developer give each character a distinct personality, to see different type of dialogues depending on which character you were using. And finally, regarding the story, I wish instead of only seeing dialogues during the stages, I wish we could have gotten still images because of how beautiful the art style in this game is. I feel like that would have given the story another layer of entertainment, and it would have been more engaging to the player. In conclusion, Weapon of Choice is a game that lives up to its name and centers on giving the player choices and options from which to choose from, focusing always on giving the player a fun and challenging experience that is enjoyable and engaging from beginning to end. For the incredible gameplay, awesome art style and world design, and rocking music, I recommend Weapon of Choice DX for the Nintendo Switch. So that's gonna be it for this non-spoiler review, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Hi everyone, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our content.